Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. This morning, we're outside of Opelousas at James Farms, where we're going to talk rice.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef is what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
So we're at James Farms in Prairie Ronde, Louisiana. We started farming here in 1980. The concept originally was to just do crawfish, and then we started planting rice to feed the crawfish. Rolando wanted to get serious about the rice business, and so he learned everything he could and started planting seriously and has been successful.
Rolando Sanchez has been a member of this family for almost 40 years when he met Beth James' father over in Mexico. He then moved he and his family here outside of Opelousas to work the farm at Prairie Ronde. He was instrumental in helping Beth to build the mill.
The prices that we get farmers for the rice that comes out from the fields, sometimes really low. So we're trying to increase the price by milling it, and hopefully people will like it and buy our rice that we produce in this farm. So that's the idea, to have the mill over here at the farm. So as soon as we harvest the rice, we can pass it to the mill, put it in the bag, and send it to the market to see if people will buy it.
What makes us very unique is it's a single variety. A lot of the times, people buy from different farmers and they mix the varieties in the bins and when they mill it. And so some rice cooks faster than others. And ours is freshly milled. And so it cooks a little bit faster, period, but it cooks evenly. And so that's what makes it different, in my opinion. Some people say it has a nuttier taste. Other people say it's aromatic. I just think it tastes better.
Can you talk to me about how the two of you got together?
My mother went to San Miguel de Allende on a group trip with some girls from Academy of the Sacred Heart in Grand Coteau. She really liked it there, and my father used to fly his own airplanes. He flew down there and picked her up. They weren't afraid of anything. They just took off in an airplane.
Right.
I used to think, how do they know where the fuel is? But,
Where do you stop?
Anyway, so the next year they rented a house, and Rolando's mother managed the house. And so Rolando and all of his siblings lived on the property. And so they met them at that point. Rolando manages everything for the farm. I mean, he's the guy.
Since I was little, I used to help my dad back in Mexico. I'm the only one from my family that likes that. Used to go to the farm. For some reason, it stayed in my mind that I wanted to do that. When my dad passed away, I was the one in charge. I think I was 14 years old. I was in charge of the very, very little acres, but I was in charge to do the work. And then there came the opportunity to come work over here in a farm, a real farm, and that's what I was looking for, and I just like it to be working out here. And I have been here for 30 years, so I guess that tells you that I like it.
Are you proud of this operation? Are you happy with your life?
I'm really proud of this. There's a quietness to being out here, and sometimes you just need that in life. But it's also very rewarding because you put seed in the ground, it comes up miraculously, if you have a good year. And, and then, you actually produce something. So it's very gratifying.
Yes, it's hard work pays off.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take some of this fabulous Prairie Ronde rice back to Chef Tory Mcphail, and he's going to make us some fabulous dishes with this Louisiana rice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
in New Orleans at Chef Tory Mcphail's house, Chef Tory from Commander's Palace, and today we're going to be working with Louisiana rice. So what are we going to be cooking today, Chef?
Well, we've got great dishes for you today. First and foremost, let's concentrate on the main ingredient. So we're gonna do the best darn pot of rice that anybody knows how to make.
Love it.
We will pop in some olive oil.
Any kind?
Maybe just, yeah, it's perfect. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of garlic, not a lot, and I'll tell you why. So we're gonna add some shallots and some bay leaves, and we're trying to leave this maybe a little more neutral. You wanna help me with some pepper?
Yes. Oh, look at,
Yeah.
this is so fun.
All right.
Just round and round?
Yeah, round and round you go. And we're gonna add a little salt.
Awesome.
And this is called seasoning as you go. We call this kind of layering the flavors,
Yes.
right? And we just want this to be a nice sweat. Okay, we don't want to caramelize it too much because we're gonna use this in different parts of your day. You know,
It's my favorite smell in the world.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So people just don't want a ton of like caramelized garlic when you eat your breakfast, okay? Unless you're having something real rich like that.
I
So-
really feel like I should just,
Yeah. It's a Louisiana cologne. Is that what it is?
I actually put some on.
Let's grab your rice.
Okay.
Right, yep, go ahead. And so what we want to try to do is coat every kernel with some of that olive oil, the garlic, a little bit of that shallots. Let's get some cold tap water.
Okay.
And you had 1 cup of rice, so now we're going to do 2 cups of cold water, so 2 to 1 ratio. We're going to want to bring this up to a simmer.
Okay.
And then once it's at a simmer, we're going to push it to the back of the stove, and then we're going to let that steam the rest of the way. Look at the back of the packages. This one says it takes about 15 minutes. And so we'll have a nice tight-fitting lid so we don't evaporate all the water. And then we'll get to the next part of our recipe.
The beautiful Prairie Ronde Rice.
Yep.
That we got from our local farmer, Beth James,
She's
which
gorgeous.
you know her husband from the Radiators.
Yeah, Dave Malone is such a great guy. And I'll tell you, I love the Radiators. You know, aside from the Rolling Stones, it is the longest continuing touring rock band in American history.
Oh, that's right up your alley.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
right,
sure you
huh?
have backstage passes for.
To Tipitina's, come on. We are gonna flavor the rice now.
Okay.
Another teaspoon of oil, so it's not a tremendous amount.
Okay, less than before.
Now we're gonna add the rest of our garlic. You need some basics of flavor when you start to cook down a rice recipe. Here in Louisiana, we know it is Holy Trinity or Creole Trinity: onion, celery, green bell pepper. Now this one, we're kind of swing it to the islands a little bit. So garlic, shallot, ginger.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna add these together.
It's very Radiators of you.
You gotta get those Tipitina's things in there,
To
right?
circle back.
That's it. So here we're gonna add a little bit of sweet potato.
Sweet potatoes, yes. I feel like I've already eaten and I have only tasted.
But now we're gonna add some tasso. Okay, so tasso is that cured Cajun ham, and you can use any kind of part of the pig you want. So it only goes for a couple minutes.
Okay.
And maybe you want to grab your rosé all day.
Oh,
spatula
yes,
there.
I do. Or which one?
Now that our mirepoix, or our basic flavors are in, why don't you add maybe just about.
With or without the bay leaf. Easy to take out.
Yeah.
For good luck.
Yeah.
I'll put them in there.
I think that's good. I think people make a mistake when they have the rice on the stove and they don't have the shrimp ready and they don't have all the rest of the ingredients ready.
Yes.
Because at this point, it's a ticking time bomb and it starts to overcook.
Right.
So once we fold it together, after this, we're not going to touch it again.
Okay. It's dynamite.
Yeah. You get salt, you get spice, you get a little sweetness from the vegetables.
It's 100% dynamite.
It's great. Right?
Oh, that is so good. Everybody can do this.
I mean, good Louisiana rice. It's just good eating.
Thanks, Chef.
You got it, Jen.
And we'll see you next time on Field to Feast. Now it's time to eat.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Jennifer, that truly looks delicious, and I'm starving because I haven't eaten, so I can't wait to get in the kitchen and make that. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when Jennifer Finley takes us to Waterproof, Louisiana, where one peach farmer has been at it for 60 years. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.